Hello, I'm Jake Boudrot, Civic Journalist at Tello Community Television. With me today is Port Hawkesbury Town Councillor MacIver, who is seeking re-election in the October municipal election. Welcome.
Thank you, Jake, for having me.
Being you've been on Town Council for quite some time, you received your 20-year pin last year, as you mentioned earlier, and I'm sure you're well known in most parts of the town, but there might be some people who moved to town in the last 4 years, some even sooner, maybe some younger voters who might not know you as well. So maybe if you want to talk a little bit about yourself.
I'm MacIver, and I live at 25 McSween Street with my wife, Donna. I have 2 girls. I have 5 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren. And I belong to the Port Hawkesbury Fire Department for 38 years. I belong to the Legion for 20 years plus. And I'm active in the community. One of my little pets is the waterfront, so people see me around there a lot. So that's pretty much it, out in the community a lot, and that's where people get to see me. I'm very approachable. I'm always there.
What in your life experiences and in the skills you've acquired over your lifetime make you a good fit to be a Port Hawkesbury Town Councillor?
Well, first getting interested in council, I went to the council meetings, and the mayor at the time, past mayor Billy Joe McLean, and the deputy mayor Hector McGuinness nurtured me along and showing me what the ropes are and stuff before I decided that I would offer for council. I thought I had a lot to offer. I'm not a traveler. I stay in the town most times on vacation and spend my time in the town trying to move it forward.
So why did you decide to seek re-election in the 2024 election?
This election was a lot of thinking whether or not to re-offer. I had a lot of residents meeting me at Sobeys and Superstore and around the town asking me, to consider running one more term, as there's a lot of new councillors going to come on because there's retirements. We have 3 running for mayor. There's a possibility of a new mayor, and we're looking for maybe some history experience at the table to help them along if elected.
As you see it right now, what are the major issues facing the town of Port Hawkesbury, and what are some solutions or strategies that you have to address these issues?
Well, the number one issue is housing, and that's everywhere across the country. We continue, as everybody knows, that the municipality is not directly involved in housing. We don't build housing. We lobby the private sector to come in and look at what they can offer to us, and we do what we can to help them to get started. It's very expensive now, building and stuff, so contractors are cautious. The cost of the apartments is another thing. Like, I understand it's private sector money, it's an investment, so they want a return. And we need low income housing too to help along. There's some things I brought forth, but we're kind of governed by the Municipal Government Act that we have to be careful what we do. And to help young families to get started, I'd like to, if the town could give incentives, like with land or something like that, I think would be a great deal of help to a young family when building a new home today. So that's partly our streets. We did some paving this year. We have to do a lot more. Sidewalks, we have a project, an $800,000 project that we're going to be, it's actually the tenders are awarded just this week, I think, to revamp and clean up a lot of the older sidewalks. We have active transportation lanes that are in the works, and there's one new one that was added this year to go up from Macquarie Drive to the Crannel Road, and hopefully next year the council will continue and move that forth up into the subdivision, the Pinecrest.
If you are reelected for another term, what are your priorities in these next 4 years?
Well, the priorities would be to lobby for housing, lobby any, I guess, government incentives that would come our way for infrastructure or anything like that. Is a big thing. It's a big help to the municipality when you get help from provincial or federal governments. The waterfront is coming back. It's getting revamped, and that's a big deal. We put a new walkway down there and did the street, and we put a couple new buildings down and stuff like that to try to draw people to the waterfront, and they like it. We have a new park that we've been working on in the last couple of years. The committee had named it Sunset Park, and that seems to be quite popular. I guess that the priority, like I say, the big one is housing. Working with our neighbor municipalities is also a big thing with me. And the last term working with Richmond was a pleasure. It's worked well. We have a joint park that we've got meetings with, and working with the industry, with the green energy and stuff. We started that maybe 6 years ago, I'm going to say. We started with a company with Briso. We entertained it and introduced them to all the government ministers and everything that they had to be introduced to get this started. And it's big in Europe, this offshore wind, and it works there. So we have a windy area here, so I'm sure it'll work here. The green hydrogen, our CAO is kind of take the lead on that, working to make sure that everything comes together. Richmond and Port Hawkesbury have the joint utility, Landry Lake, and we're working on that to supply water to both plants. So those are big priorities, because if you have industry, we bring people home to work, they build houses and sustain our economy. It also works well for small business. If you have more people, there's more small business. So that's a big priority.
This is going to be the first entirely electronic election in the town of Port Hawkesbury. Last time was a hybrid. Do you foresee that things will run well and there shouldn't be any problems with the vote?
Last year was kind of, or last election, it was kind of a hybrid. Like we had a poll and paper. This election, we decided to go all electronic, but we are going to have poll open at the Civic Center, where if anybody is a little bit nervous or not sure what to do, they're going to be able to come in and there'll be people there to help them. So I don't foresee any problems with it. And of course, myself, my number's out there. If anybody is having issues, they can give me a call. I can pick them up and take them to the poll for help if they need it.
And the other aspect of the election is the plebiscite on Reev Street to get residents' opinions on what they want for the alignment of the town's main thoroughfare. Do you foresee a possibility that issue could overshadow or dominate other issues during this election, or do you figure that this is something that's needed and a vote that should take place?
I don't think there'll be any issues. I think it's something that is needed to really put it to bed, which way it should go or not. And the street actually belongs to the province, and it first started, I guess, in 2012. It was coming to light, and it's been worked on before that. Like there was work being done with access and stuff like that, but it came right to the front around 2012, 13, and where the request was put in from the town maybe to have it changed. And I can remember the meetings, and it was a lot of controversy and stuff like that. And I actually went through the minutes and stuff, and there wasn't a motion of council to do it. So I made the motion at that meeting to follow through with the change as presented. It's been working fairly well. You can't make left turns and stuff when the traffic is heavy. And we had about 14 issues that we've been trying to deal with. And just lately, I put forth a motion to change it back. And CBC hit it right on. They had the perfect, everything that was what it was meant to be. It was to get a reaction from the government. We haven't heard from them in 2 years. And when I made the motion and council endorsed it, we got a reaction. Before a letter was even drawn up, we had a phone call from the province to have a meeting. And we've met with the engineers, we've met with the Deputy Minister of Transportation and Renewal, and they're going to address a lot of these issues that we have. I don't want any cost to the taxpayers of the town for any of these changes. And we'll see how that comes out. But I think we should give the residents a chance. And on the ballot, I guess, it's a very simple question, it's supposed to be very straightforward, and it's a yes/no answer. So you'll get a decisive what I guess the residents are feeling. I know it increased traffic up through Tamarack. It increased traffic on Granville and Queen Street. And you do hear that because of speeding and other things. But this will, I think, tell the council which way that the residents want this to go. It's not a binding, so if it is a negative, the province will end up doing what they want to do anyway. It's their street. So, but it'll let us know how to lobby. So I don't see it being much of a problem. Like, it's just a yes/no answer, and it should go right through.
This isn't your first election, but I'd just like to get an idea from you. What have you been doing since you confirmed that you are running again? And what are your plans for the weeks ahead in the campaign?
I'm meeting as many of the residents as I can, and I see them on the street and stuff. I'm a little careful going door to door because of where I work. I work at NSCC, and we have approximately 600 students. And with COVID, it is still around, and it's in the college, and I'm careful to go door to door because of our residents, and I don't want to be the one to spread it if I happen to have it. And so I meet them on the street or at their door, the grocery stores around town. We have discussions and I listen to what they have to say. I'm a big advocate of, I believe government should be of the people. So I listen to everything that anybody talks to me about or calls me about. I usually act on and see if I can do anything to help them. So that's the big thing, is be out there and be for the people.
That's great. I appreciate you coming down to our studio today and answering my questions, Mark. Much appreciated.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.